Let's have a ball.
Good day everyone and welcome to CMC Talks. I'm Lawrence, your host for today's episode. Today, we're diving into a really interesting topic in CMC, which is online relationships. Can friendships or romantic relationships form online just be as strong as face-to-face relationships? And how does technology affect trust, intimacy, and connection? Joining me today is our guest expert, Hannah, who has been studying how people communicate and build relationships through digital platforms. Welcome to the show, Hannah.
Thanks, Lawrence. I'm excited to be here. This topic is something people can relate to because almost everyone today connects with other online in some way.
True, especially after the pandemic, online communication became even more important in our daily lives. So let's jump into our discussion. Some people believe that online relationships are less genuine compared to face-to-face relationships. In your opinion, an online relationship or romantic relationship actually became real and
Yes, research in CMC shows that online relationships can become very deep and meaningful over time. Even though people are not physically together, communication through chats, video calls, voice messages, and social media allows people to share emotions, experience, and personal stories. And online relationships can feel strong is because people often communicate more openly online. Sometimes it's easier to express feelings through messages because there's less pressure compared to speaking face to face. For example, many long distance couples maintain healthy relationships through daily video calls and constant communication. Some online friendships also last for years, even between people living in different countries.
That's interesting because I've also noticed that some people became more comfortable opening up online. Why do you think that happens?
Online communication create a sense of safety for some people. In face-to-face interactions, people may feel nervous because of body language, appearance, or fear of being judged. But online, especially through texting, people have more time to think before responding. CMC researchers sometimes call this the online disinhibition effect. People may reveal more personal thoughts online because they feel less anxious.
Makes sense. I've seen people share personal stories on social media or with online friends that they might not share in person.
Exactly. Online spaces can create emotional pauses, especially when communication is frequent and honest.
Now let's talk about trust. Since people can hide behind screens or even create fake identities, how do online relationships build trust?
Well, that's one of the biggest challenges in online relationships. Because online develops slowly through consistent communication, honesty, and shared experiences. For example, when someone regularly communicates, keeps promises, and behaves consistently, over time, trust naturally grows. Video calls also help because they make communication feel more personal and authentic. Because of this, people need to be careful and avoid trusting too quickly.
True. Social media sometimes makes it hard to know what's real and fake. Do you think social media affects the way people see relationships?
Yes, definitely. Social media often shows the highlight reel or people's lives. Couples may post happy photos, romantic dates, or sweet messages, but followers don't always see the problems behind the scenes. This can create unrealistic expectations about relationships. Some people compare their own lives to what they online and start feeling insecure.
I agree. Sometimes online relationships can look perfect when they're actually not.
Exactly, that's why digital literacy is important. People should remember that social media only shows part of reality.
Question: let's compare online communication and face-to-face communication. What do you think are the biggest differences between
One major difference is the lack of physical presence online. In face-to-face communication, we can see body language, facial expressions, gestures, and tone more clearly. These nonverbal cues help people understand emotions better. Online communication, especially texting, can sometimes lead to misunderstandings because messages may sound cold or unclear. That's actually why emojis become so popular. Emojis help express emotions that text alone cannot fully communicate.
a simple emoji can completely change the meaning of the message?
Exactly. For example, a short reply like okay can sound serious or even angry in text, but adding a smile emoji makes it feel friendlier. At the same time, online communication has advantages too. It allows people to stay connected across long distances instantly. Families, friends, and classmates can communicate anytime through technologies.
So would you say online communication is replacing face-to-face interaction?
I think it's more accurate to say that it complements face-to-face communication. Technology gives people more ways to maintain relationships, but many people still value in-person interaction because physical presence creates a different emotional experience.
Another important issue is how technology affects young people today. Many teenagers spend hours online talking to friends or meeting new people. Do you think this is positive or negative?
I think that depends on how technology is used. There are many positive effects. Online platforms allow young people to find communities where they feel accepted and understood. For example, students with uncommon hobbies or interests can meet people from and around the world who share the same passions. Online communities can reduce feelings of loneliness. However, there are also negative effects. Excessive communication can sometimes reduce face-to-face social skills. Some people became too dependent on digital validation, like likes, comments, or followers. Cyberbullying is another serious issue. Hurtful messages can spread quickly online and affect mental health.
That's a really important point. Why do you think cyberbullying happens so often online?
One reason is anonymity. When people hide behind screens, they may feel less responsible for their actions. Some individuals say things online that they would never say in person. Another factor is distance. Without saying the other person's reaction directly, people sometimes forget that their words can cause emotional pain.
Sad because online spaces should help people connect, not hurt each other.
Exactly. Responsible communication and empathy are very important in digital spaces.
Before we wrap up, let's talk about the future. With AI, virtual reality, and more advanced technology, how do you think online relationships will change in the future?
I think online relationships will become even more immersive and interactive. Virtual reality, for example, make online communication feel more realistic by allowing people to interact in virtual spaces. Imagine friends from different countries attending virtual concerts together or students meeting in digital classrooms. That feels almost real. And new challenges involving privacy, authenticity, and emotional dependence of technology. People will need to balance digital relationships with real-world experiences.
That sounds exciting, but also a little scary.
Hence, technology always brings both opportunities and challenges. What matters most is how people use it.
This has been such an interesting conversation. Today, we learned that online relationships can absolutely become meaningful and emotionally strong. We also discussed how trust is built online, the differences between digital and face-to-face communication, and the positive and negative effects of technology on relationships. One major takeaway is that technology itself is not good or bad. It depends on how people communicate and behave online. Anna, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your insights.
Thank you, Lawrence. I really enjoyed our discussion.
And thank you to everyone listening to CMC Talks. We hope today's episode helped you think more deeply about online relationships and communication in the digital age. That's all for today's episode of CMC Talks. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next time.
Bye.